Hello? Hello?
Yes, I can see your presentation.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, let's start. I'm sorry for this delay. I'm Germán Valenzuela from Chile, from the School of Architecture of Talca, in the south of Santiago de Chile. Please let me know if you can listen what I say, and if you can look what I presenting now. I don't know if you can listen.
I can hear you, and I can
Nice.
see, and I think that everybody.
Nice, excellent. Well, first of all, thanks for this invitation. For me, it's very nice to be here with all of you. And well, I'm an architect. I'm live in Talca, as you know. I start my job with like an architect in 1999 here in Talca with some friends. We opened the School of Architecture with Juan Román especially, and the School of Architecture is based on the territory, and that is what I want to show you. And this aspect about the territory for us is quite new, especially in Chile, because as you know, the Chilean architects works a lot on the territory, but the territory almost are a kind of canvas for architecture, but not the main theme of the investigation and the main theme of the core of the architectural design. I say this a transect trip by the territory to talk about material approach, because I took a lot of different pictures from a work what I'm doing now, calling Maulenauta, which is a audiovisual work, and I take some pictures from here to try to show you what the territory was here in the Central Valley of Chile. This is the Central Valley of Chile. In the center is the city of Talca with the red dot, and the bottom part of the image you can saw the Santiago city. This valley is a very rich one, and for us it's very important because the most important part of the exportation of fruits and wine, for example, come from this region. But the generation of energy from the dams and the water, the hydroelectrical energy, comes from here too. And the industry of wood coming from this region too. And that is why this region is very rich, but is rich for the industry, but is poor for society. Next image. This is the Maule River near Talca city. You can saw the Colbún Lake, which is not a lake really. It's hydroelectrical generation. In the upper side, of the image, you can see the Maule Lagoon, which is the main lagoon here in this region, and the frontiers of with Argentina. And in the right side of the image, the Maule River comes to the sea, and there is a very little teeny city called Constitución. And what we saw now is a lot of works coming from this huge region with landscapes. The School of Architecture bases on this territory and bases on this idea of how to make, how to do. And how to do coming from this territory means the idea of how to making about the material, what is existing now in this territory. And there are a lot of different possibilities to make something. If you took the idea of the architecture, the architectural work is not only an abstract work. You can start from the other side of the idea of architecture. What is the architecture is a material thing. And what happened with the material is about how to make and how to do. This reminds to a philosophical discussion that we don't have time enough to make some ideas from here, but this difference between how to make or how to do reminds to a moral point of view. And for me, the main thing is to try to act, not only to make, is to act. The architecture, the contemporary architecture for me is a representation of conflicts from different territories, not only the huge territory, maybe the teeny territories from the barrios or some neighborhoods, or the conflicts inside a city or in the surroundings. Well, and this approach from the materiality try to make some equilibrium between space and material. And this approach generate a lot of different kind of acts and different kinds of works. Sometimes teeny works, sometimes more huge, but this approach try to understood how to make with the materials what you have in your surroundings, not only with the how to say industrial materials, you know. It's interest to act, and how I say this point of view, this axis to get inside the architecture from the material stuff generate a lot of different images and a lot of different approaches to the places. And this word, places, I think in the contemporary discourses of architecture, especially in the cities, disappear. And the material approach, I think, rethink about the place, how the place can be. Not only in this kind of territories, maybe in the in the territories of the experimental too, not only in the physical territory, but maybe in the experimental territory of the architecture. And this approach about the material, the materiality, this moral approach, he understood that the materials is not only, how to say, the best materials are the concrete or the wood or the stone. Maybe these plastic bags can be a nice and amazing material to do something, and it costs only a few dollars or a few euros or a few pesos, and you make a great architecture maybe for a minute. This is the Maule River, and this is the space what I'm trying to show you. We now have more than 700 teeny architecture make it in this territory, but I want to show only six of this approach, this investigation, these works. In the Cordillera of Los Andes, we have this lagoon, Maule Lagoon, near the frontier of Argentina, and this is a place that one student make this nice representation of the people who fight for make this road between Argentina and Chile, and to connect these two countries in this place. And this territory is full of a lot of very huge industry of hydroelectric energy, and about that, a lot of infrastructure. But at the same time, lives a lot of people who lives in this place for 100 of years. And these two different kinds of types of landscape you can saw on these places, but a lot of times this teeny intervention coming from the cowboys disappears in the landscape, you know. But if you go further and if you go to get and see this territory and to look what happened in the territory, you can saw some fantastic construction like this, which is a refugee from these cowboys who goes up in the mountains with cows every summer. And what I said is this: the infrastructure moves the territory and transform the landscape. We almost think about architecture in this way, to transform the things. And sometimes we need a lot of intelligence to transform the landscape and the surroundings to make something. But this intelligence can go in another way, can go sometimes go in the survival way, no? To try to live in some place. And these places, if you take a look with some care about these places, you can saw another kind of intelligence, the intelligence of the medium, of how to do something and how to live in some place without any destruction. And this observation of the territory in this sense of the materiality can capture a lot of images, and you can go further with your ideas of how to make architecture, but not coming from the analysis only, but maybe from this representation of how to make something in the territory. How I say, the infrastructure make this kind of different lines inside the territory, and you can saw here the territory as a palimpsesto, and the architecture go inside this palimpsesto, and always the architects have to construct first an idea of the territory, and after that conceive an architecture, and after that draw a lot of different points of view to make something, and after that build his idea on this territory. You can go in the other way, from the territory to the idea, from the territory, from the materiality to the abstraction. And all of this infrastructure make this huge transformation. And you can see this transformation with easy in the territory, but in the landscape, in the surroundings of the city. But inside the city, you can, how to say, occupy the same ideas to try to understand how the city can be a territory, and how the city have a lot of materials already to make something, and try to understand how to make from the city, from the territory of the investigation that you are doing, to make architecture in this non-abstract axis. Well, this is another image of the same, and you can saw the conflict. For me, it's very important, and very. I am very interested on this about the conflict, about the new and the old, the contemporary and the ancient. But the ancient, no, in a sense of museum idea of the ancient. For me, it's more important this conflict, this clash between the ancient and the new, the place, how it make it for hundreds of years, and the 20th century idea of modernity, etc. And you can saw here that the dam, the road, the little village, the native species in the slopes. And in this territory, Edgar Torres built this refugee to the cowboys that you saw here. Corral Abierto is the name of this teeny project. And his father lives in the Cordillera de la Costa and works with wood. And they have a lot of pieces of wood, what you saw. And what I say in the first part of the presentation, the Maule region is a very huge region and very important in the production of wood materials. He took this material because they have it, and designed and built with the cowboys in the Andes this refugee to transform the space to get conversation, how I say, the place to stay better in this place, because the cowboys have to pernoct here, have to sleep a night here with the cows, because they go further to the upper side of the mountains, and this refugee in summer works on this like a place to eat, to cook something, to sleep, and if it's possible to build, is because of the cowboys, because the cowboys have the notion and the knowledge to go to this place with this kind of materials, and the intelligence is that to connect the architectural intelligence to the places intelligence, to the intelligence coming from the people who lives there. And this is the result on winter, when the people goes up in the mountains to get skiing, and the same infrastructure can be used for tourism. Jordana in the same surroundings, in the same place, but in the river of the lake of the Colbún, they make this project is absolutely different like the other, because the people who lives here, when it was the inundation of these surroundings, they have to move to another place, and they leave this landscape, and they want to come back and use the river of the lake, but it's very difficult, because the water go down and go down and up a lot of times in a year, because it's for generation of energy, and they make this teeny project with wood to make a kind of landmark. A landmark of this difference between when the water go down and the water go up, because the people, what they need, sorry, I'm sorry, the telephone is calling. What the people need is to maintain on summer the water in the upper level. And Jordana builds this landmark to observe what's happened with the water, and to try to be in some sense like a protest, no? But in summer, when sometimes when the water goes up, the people go and use this place like a little infrastructure to use on summer. This is the main structure. It's a kind of tiny infrastructure, building in wood coming from the surroundings. And you can saw the water goes down on summer, and the people that they want is to try to use this huge space to go with her families and use this place like a beach. Well, goes to the valley, the Central Valley of Chile, not the 100, but the 80% of the wine of Chile coming from the valley of the Central Valley, and always we have this kind of conflicts between the surroundings of the infrastructure and the main themes of the rural, you know, and on this crash between the rural and the 21st century infrastructure, electric infrastructure, for me it's very interesting. Try to understand what happened. And you can saw on this territory, very poor territory, a lot of interesting images to reconnect, relink what you want to do with your architecture, especially if it's an investigation inside the School of Architecture, and what happened with the materials, then how the people live and how the people build on this size, and how the people use the place, and what culture signify some spaces, no, some places, especially the places, no, the idea of the place. Images like this, the people who live near the river use the how to say, basura, trash, the trash of the ancient infrastructure, for example here, and on this landscape, which is very flat because it's the valley. You can see images like this when the people who are inside this teeny balneario near the river have to use these teeny spaces, green spaces, but what happened in the surroundings are this, no? It's industry of potatoes, for example, or corn. Yeah, because this territory are very rich in climate, in water, in soil. And for me, it's very interesting because this kind of images can change our idea of how to build and how to think about the space and how to use these spaces. And obviously, the photography have here a very important place, because you have to recover from the territory these ideas. This is the main I don't know how to say, the ancient Inca minery in the Maule River is the most austral minery from the Incas here in the Maule. And in these surroundings, Maria Jose builds a shelter for the people who lives there. What you see, it's a shelter buildings built in wood, and this wood coming from the rest of the school, which is falling down in 2010 in the huge earthquake. And only what we have in this place is the chimney, the soil, the ground, the concrete ground of the school, and some pieces of wood coming from the roof of the school, and we rebuilt this only one big space to reconnect the people to this, who lives in the surroundings to these historical places, because this is the ancient school, and transform with this project in a social place. This is the place. Oh, I have to. Okay, and I don't know what happened. What happened with this? I'm sorry. Yeah, and this is what Maria Jose built with people from this place. Recover the ground, the concrete ground, and the chimney of the place, and transform the chimney in a oven to cook, and the old wood coming from the roof of the ancient school in a new structure to build this shelter. Guillermo Rojas works in the ancient minery, Inca minery, which is in works between the most recent use of this minery was between 70 and 80s, for example. I mean, and you have all this rest of concrete infrastructure, and they built this place to take a look how the palimpsesto was, because you have all these different layers put one over and over the others, and this built with the municipality to recover this place, especially for scholar activities. Built with iron, that you use in concrete, because it's very easy and cheap, easy to make and to take and to buy, and very cheap. And we changed the territory to the secano. We call it secano, this territory, because they don't have more water than the rain, and this territory changed in the last 40 years, because Pinochet makes a law to foment the wood industry, and change a lot this landscape, because a lot of people works now on these spaces in this industry. This is the cemetery, typical cemetery inside this territory, and the people who lives there works in another kind of teeny economic. For example, here making coal, which is very, very interesting how to make these ovens. Very ancient idea of how to make coal. And well, this is the industry, the main industry on this place, and they destroy very quickly and change a lot the surroundings. You can saw only a little part of the species from the place, and all these works happen in this huge territory. And again, the people from the place generate a lot of these images coming from this intelligence to use for example, the vegetables as materials of construction, you know. And this is what's happened now in some of these places. Sometimes the money who comes from the state not works very well, you know, because the rich not produce every time a good image. This place is Santa Olga, destroyed for the very high incendio. I don't know how to say. Well, I don't remember. And the people of 100% of the houses, but in this way, you know, and we lost absolutely the culture of the place and changed the culture of the place with these teeny houses, social houses, because this is what the main the main form of the state have to understood and make the architecture. This is the Maule River, 10 kilometers from the sea. It's a very nice place. It's a very nice place, but if you saw with some time, with more time, you can saw the conflict here too, because disappear all the ancient houses and places, and because of the industry of wood. This industry changed a lot the surroundings of the river. And I don't know, I don't have any problem. I know this transform is about history and happens every time. But what happened when these things change, for me is an opportunity to try to understand how to re-understood the territory and how to make architecture in these places. Because this kind of industry, for example, the wood industry, make this kind of images. And this kind of images, you can try to recover from the territory to the new ideas to the architecture. Not only how to live, it's not about anthropological point of view, no? But as we know, the territory now is and the nature in general have this huge problem, you know, and how to re-understood architecture for me coming from this approach of materiality. This is another, in this place, another project built for Javier Corvalán, with these these old women who make this how to say this? I'm sorry. This activity with his hands, with barro, I don't know how to say, arcilla, and make all this. And it's a very ancient way to live and to make some money, and this this place doesn't have an infrastructure to receive the tourist, and we make this this place to recover this ancient idea of conversation between the people who lives in the place and the people who comes from the city to buy and maybe to learn how to make this artesanía. And it's building in a very interesting way, because it's a mix between acero and barro, you know, and adobe. It's a very interesting way to make this bodega. In the coast of the Maule, we can find this kind of infrastructure for the wood industry, and this is Constitution, the teeny city of Constitution, who are hit for the sea in 2010 with this huge earthquake and maremoto after the earthquake. And on this place we can, well, on the territory we can saw a lot of these teeny activities who make a lot of different things, and we can saw in these things how to make some shelter. For example, this is a shelter for the people who take wiros from the sea. The wiros is a plant who lives inside the sea. I don't know how to say that in English. And all the time we can saw this infrastructure and the crash between infrastructure and the nature and the surroundings and the landscape, and generate all these images and all this conflict in between, what for me are very interesting to make architecture. For example, here Paulette Bravo makes this a kind of barrier to evitate that the people goes with his cars inside the river and leave there his trashes. In that sense, Paulette recover this place, which is a very important and historical place, because it's the point where the river go inside the sea, the Pacific Sea. This is the place, and you can saw in the big image the rest of the infrastructure, the ancient infrastructure. And well, all the ideas coming from this place and how to make this kind of infrastructure, and how it happened 100 years ago when the infrastructure start built and uses, and now how to maintain this history of the place, but recover the main theme for me in this place, which is the how to be more more ethical and try to rebuild a relation with the place and try to understand how to make a better place. And well, this is the same territory with more than 700 works between Chillán and Santiago, which is a very huge territory. It's huge like Holland, for example, can be a country inside Chile. And well, this is the first presentation. I don't know if you want to talk first or see the second part of my presentation, which is about more teeny intervention inside inside the city and inside the houses of my students. Fernanda?
Hello, I'm here. Yes, I think it's important to see also the second presentation. Unfortunately, okay. Javier cannot speak in this moment. Behind this side, please, he asked me to be with you, together with you, to communicate with you. And so I think we can continue because I see we have like our public, which is now here. And okay, thank you very much.
Fernanda, you can hear me?
Yes, of course. You are Mariparagu?
No, I'm Joaquin. Also, you can hear me, Germán?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so now that we know that I can speak by my account and also Germán can speak, maybe I will add Javier with my account, so we will be like 3 or 4 Joaquin Corvalán in the meeting. But he can turn on the camera and also speak. So also I wanted to ask Fernanda if you can make the event feel longer, because it seems that it's programmed until we have 10 minutes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. We have another 10 minutes. Maybe we can make it longer.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
As you want.
Thank you, Germán.
Well, I don't know if you see my screen.
No.
Not yet.
Wait a moment, because I have to share with the others. I am the only one, I understand, that can be. So I, in this moment.
We can also put the presentation and Germán be beside the presentation. If you
but you saw something, or
yes.
you don't know?
In this moment, your second presentation, the title is Intervenciones Domésticos. Okay, exactly. We can see it. Okay, well, and we are sharing.
Start. Nice. Okay, I started with this second presentation. Is a work we are doing with my students. This is the last work that I'm doing in last year, in 2020. Between November and December is a 2-month studio in which the student have to work in his own house because of the situation. And I want to show you very quickly some intervention that my student make in his own house. This student is tried to re-understood how to uses his patio outside his house, and try to make another relation between interior and exterior of his houses, making this this door in between, this new door. This is the situation, and they moves a piece of muro here and goes to the outside from this point and transform this relation between here, especially for light. First of all, to make a better place inside, but after that, you can saw this mobiliario outside of the place here, like part of the mobiliario of the main house. And after that, they recover this muro de ladrillo here and different things. And how you saw is very easy and very cheap. All the intervention with the materials that they have in his house, and this is the result of this intervention. First, they have to make a lot of investigation about how to make this and how to make without money, because we have to make this with the materials that they have in his house. This is a second one, another student. We make this vereda, this recorrido between his house and the place that I used to work inside this huge patio inside his space. The space who use to work is here. They have a teeny bodega outside his main house, and they built this space to reorganize all this different part of the patio, and to make this as a kind of public space inside his house, because the only way to make conversations, for example, with his friends, is in the outside of the house. This third can be finished because my student have COVID, and they make this investigation to this point and can finish it. But I want to show you, because they have these ladrillos, and they design a lot of different forms to make the new situation between the inside and the outside of this house, the main house where they live, but they can finish because of the COVID. The umbral, this student live in a very teeny house, and after time they grow, his house grow and in a new places, and obviously this kind of growing of the houses go in a wrong way, because they don't have light enough, for example, or have to go inside a room to go inside the kitchen or something like this, some problems like this, and they redistribute the house, taking this this part of the house and understood how to use all the space in between. And you can see here the things that they took from the old house and make a new space to work and to reconnect the house, because they live here only with his mother. And this is the demolition of the main part of this muro between these two spaces. And this is the representation of what they have to do. They have to remove this part, and after that they move the other part of the muro from here and transform the main space in something like this. With what they have in his house, I insist, is how to make. I insist in this idea of the architecture as an act, and if you try to understand and to think about architecture in this way, you can rethink the materials you have in your surroundings to make something, like in art, for example, Gordon Matta Clark. This is another project. Is how to reuse this teeny patio, which is we don't have garden. It's only concrete, and this is the situation before we start, and we transform with this teeny and very cheap structure the place to these two different uses, to make a place for the family and to garbage the cars, and how to go with the family outside, because they don't have a garden. The only space outside is this, and because of COVID, they have to move outside, because it's impossible to live in a very teeny house if you have, especially if you have all this space outside, and revalue the relation with this outside space. This work is about remove some slice, if you think on that sense, inside the house, to reconstruct a new relation in between spaces. And this other is in the patio too, to try to understand how to make something outside and reconnect the relation between the interior and the exterior of the house, using the materials that they have in the surroundings of his house, and making this mobiliario. And this is another project to recover a bodega, a garbage here, to now to reconnect the outside spaces, because the house is very teeny, and they move a lot of they want to move a lot of uses to the outside because of the COVID, and transform the garbage in a flexible space to make a lot of things. And you can saw this resolution of the problems with creativity, because they have some things and they can buy new materials. And for me, this is an opportunity to be more intelligent and to understood how to make the things. For me, this approach have an opportunity, or give us an opportunity to make things, because sometimes we think it's so difficult to make architecture and to do things, and for me, about this approach, you can understood the architecture as the architect as a maker, and in this sense, the evaluation of how is material good for builds for build something. You can build with anything, you know. The question maybe is how to live with this kind of architecture, because this architecture coming from a school of architecture, and the students have time to make this. How to move from the professional way, and I think Javier Corvalán and a lot of architects from Paraguay and from South America, from Ecuador, for example, have this approach to the materiality, and this way to make the things and to revalue the intelligence which coming from the places. This is another teeny patio outside the house of this woman, which is the grandmother of my student. Well, and they have to make a lot of teeny resolutions of problems, of different problems. Here the problem is the chickens go inside the house, and they move the barrier of the surround of the house more outside to make this patio to the grandmother, make it with the materials that what they have in the place. Well, I don't want to extend a lot, because there are a lot of projects making in a different ways, in different places, with different approach, but always with this idea of reconnect with the materials that have in the surroundings, and how to make architecture in a very good way, sometimes without money, but always about creativity and good way of life, and be kindly with nature, etc. No? It's a way to transform the space that we live, making things in a better way, to reconnect the territory, the place, the people who live there, and sometimes this happen in a different way that the industry of architecture goes in this times. Well, I think it's enough because there are a lot of teeny projects making in different ways, and I think which is very important is that every project is an investigation, and each student is different and think in a different way. And what we try to do here in the School of Architecture in Talca is to make it possible with our students. Not only one way to make, not only one way to do the things, but do the things. But try to understand how to make his ideas and how to make it well. Well, very quickly, this is very interesting because the patio is full of cars because his father works with cars, and they try to keep it a corner for the family. In the place, inclusive parts of these cars, to make it and to reconnect with his family in this corner of the patio. This is a very teeny house, social house from the 70s, and they try to move a piece of landscape inside the house in the patio and carry a lot of plants and materials and colors from the outside, from because this place 40 years ago or 50 years ago are countryside, or this other to reconnect with the patio too. Well, it's a lot because each student have to make it and have to build something, and that's why you can saw a lot of different approach to how to make it. Okay. Well, thanks a lot. That's it.
Thank you very much, Germán. I don't know. Wait a moment. That I don't know if. Yes, problem.
Hello.
Hi, Joaquin.
I don't know if
another Joaquin.
Yes, we are two. We didn't make it with Javier. Maybe because he is in an iPad, and we don't know. He told me to say hello to you, Germán, to Fernanda, and to everybody. To thank a lot to Germán and the one who were connected with us, and
with a lot of problem.
Yeah, we like to apologize to because it's the first time that we did these kind of presentations as an live event. So for next meetings, maybe we can fix this problem. And anyway, it was very interesting. A lot of projects, a lot of architecture, and an incredible point of view. But most of all, I may say a very big human quality. and I may say, and ingenious solutions that I hope that it could be interesting for everybody. So
I mean, what I want to transmit is that you can go further if you take this approach coming from the material, and the question is how to act in the surrounds, how to act to make something, and try to moves the abstraction to a place in equilibrium between the abstract and the concrete, you know. And I think the investigation can be a move to make something at the same time that you are trying to understand what you are doing, you know, because the architecture in general goes in a line between the abstract ideas and the history and the culture and so on to the concrete of the space. And the space in some ways doesn't have material. The material and the materiality sometimes appear at the end of the process. When you move this to the first part of the process and you start trying to understand what you have in your surroundings, maybe in your own house or your own flat, maybe to make a hole in the roof to make better light inside your room. This approach for me is very important and very interesting, maybe because it's more near to the art, but is more near to the materials as a fact. You know, you can build a lot if you have the materials, because the materials are the money are in the materials. And if you open your mind to use all the materials you have in your surroundings, you can build a lot. This is the approach, you know, and for the investigation too, because it's more easy to go in the how to say correct way between the abstract to the concrete.
Yeah.
And what I try to say is try to think in another way. Try to think, reconnect with this different part of the process of architecture, and try to make it in another way.
Germán, I would say as that probably the importance of your approach to the architecture remind me something which belongs to the very recent past of the Italian architecture. I would say in some way the radical architecture, no? The architect of the radical architecture, but also something that which now we have in front of us, which is our future, no?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I think that the most important message of your lecture today, for me as an Italian architect, I would say, is this reappropriation of the architecture as a very basic but also fundamental act. No?
Absolutely.
This is the idea that to make an act of architecture is basically to make an act of foundation, no?
Absolutely.
Or
Absolutely.
re-foundation. So
Yeah,
in
nice,
this sense,
nice
I
word.
think it's very interesting for the idea that you gave to all of us, no? This idea of different point of view in the investigation, in the idea of architecture as investigation, but also that your approach to the material is not simply a technological approach. No. It's much more a philosophical approach, no, as I would say.
I say maybe cultural.
Cultural, yes.
Yeah, because the architecture need this different approach, and the architect have the intelligence to reconnect with all of this different knowledge coming from the territory, coming from the history, from the technological stuff, and so on. And for me, as you say, it's about future. Absolutely, you're right. Absolutely. And for me, it's very important because a lot of people say, wow, there are a lot of new school of architecture, and we don't need more architects. And I think exactly the opposite. I think the architects can be this bridge between how to rebuild a connection with the culture. And for me, the main thing is how to act, because it's a moral way of take some ideas from the surroundings, the cultural, the technological stuff, and so on.
So probably the last things that we can say to the participant to this so strange presentation, due to me, it was my responsibility. It doesn't work. Is to say that you are not only an architect, but you are the founder of one of the most interesting schools in Chile at the moment, the School of Architecture in Talca. And for this reason, for me, it was also a pleasure to have you today as a guest, chosen by Javier, that I thanks also a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks you, for me, a pleasure.
And I hope we can meet again in a better way and in better condition. Okay.
So, well, thanks a lot.
Joaquin, if you have anything else to say, please say now, or we can close here if the participant do not have any questions. I don't know. If they can, probably they can write in the chat, but I don't know.
Yeah, I can see anything, but if you need to have another space to
yes, we will be very glad if Germán can join us in our class space. So maybe our students can interact with you, and also there will be Papa Javier will be there. He wants to meet you, and so maybe we can close here.
We can meet there. Okay.
Okay.
And we will meet there. Thank you.
Okay. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks a lot.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao.